Hi, today on Gary's Urban Larder, I'm taking these peaches and I'm going to make something that reminds me of my cousin Norma. Some fried pies, hand pies. Let's get started. So I'll take you through what we're going to do today. This is kind of a lengthy process. It's not too difficult though. We're going to make both the pastry for our pies and the filling out of the fresh peaches. So we'll start with the pastry dough. And then while it's chilling, it needs to chill for 30 minutes or up to an hour, we'll blanch, peel, and chop our peaches. So I'll just run you through these quickly, but remember you can go to my website at garysurbanlarder.com. You should see it running along there, I think. And you'll have a full list of ingredients and recipe. Okay, we've got flour. I have some additional flour for dusting. I've got an egg, baking powder, sugar, salt, and ice water. So we're just going to start by adding a couple of pinches of salt to the flour as well as the sugar. I'm just going to set these aside because I'm going to have to work in this area. Our baking powder. And I'm just going to whisk that together to combine. Right, nearly forgot the most important thing, which is our butter. And I've got roughly a half a cup of butter, 115 grams of cubed butter that's cold, which we're going to work into the flour. We're just going to rub that in. And I think it's important that we learn how to do it by hand. And my cousin Norma would certainly only do it by hand. And we just start to rub that together. And we'll get our butter distributed. And as soon as I've got that rubbed in, we'll add our egg and our ice water. Okay, we've got that rubbed together till it's nice crumb, and I don't have any big pieces of butter. So now I will just slightly beat our egg with a little of the ice water. And I'm just going to make a little well in our mixture. And I'm going to add in the egg. So, and I'm just going to bring the flour over that egg, add a little bit, about a tablespoon at a time of our water. And I'm just going to work that in just by hand. And I think people should really not be afraid of doing things by hand. I mean, after all, before the modern industrial age, very little tools that one could use in the kitchen. So you had to do things by hand. And even today, not all of us can afford fancy gadgets and equipment. So we have to do it by hand. So add a tablespoon more. And that's going to be about 1/4 to 1/3 cup of water. And we're just going to do that until it comes together. I'll try to keep it on my worktop. And another tablespoon. And you start to know, and I think that's one of the other good reasons of doing it by hand, is that you start to really understand when the dough is right. So, there. So when we get this to a point, I'll turn it out on the bench. I think another tablespoon of water. And we'll knead it just a little bit and shape it, and we're going to cut it. And then we're going to divide it equally into 8 portions, which I'm going to put on some parchment. And then we're going to wrap it and chill it for 30 minutes to an hour. And we'll turn our attention to our peaches. Okay, that has really come together. And that's clinging. Everything in that bowl is coming out onto my work surface. We can set that aside. And just a little sprinkling of flour as I start to shape that. I'm just bringing things together. I'm not going to overwork this dough. We don't want it to be tough. But we do want it to be able to hold together when we roll it and shape it for our pies. I love making pastry. You might have guessed that. But it does remind me of learning as a kid. I mean, how many of you learned by just making pastry, whether it was for cookies, just having your hands in the dough, stirring things together until you got something magical. So we're going to make some magical hand pies. And the interesting thing about hand pies is their connection to early life, rural life, including that in the United States of southern enslaved people. So they worked sun up to sundown, and they needed food, which wasn't always available in the fields. So they made things they could take with them, carry with them. And hand pies is one of those. All right. So you see how that's come together. And even though it's short, it's a good firm, malleable dough. So I'm just going to shape that into a little log. And then we'll divide it. Okay. If you have a scale, you could weigh it. My scale is on the fritz today. So I'm just going to do this by eye. So there we go. And we're going to shape these into balls. Now that I have those into balls, I'm just going to take some of our parchment, and I'm just going to smash that, push that down into roughly a circle. And we'll do another one. We'll stack those, and we'll refrigerate it. Okay, we've got 2 piles of 4, and I'm just going to wrap these up in a bit of plastic wrap or cling film and put these into our refrigerator. While our dough is resting in the fridge, we're going to get on and blanch our peaches to remove the skins. So I have a pot of water on the boil and some ice water and our peaches. And before putting it in, actually what I want to do is to get a knife and on the bottom of the peach, just put an X about ½ inch in. And we'll do that to each of them. And then we will put them in our boiling water for 30 to 45 seconds. Really shouldn't take longer than that. And then we'll dunk them in the ice water. Okay, let's get started in doing it. So we'll do the first one. So we take it out after a few minutes, and now we're going to put that into our ice bath. And we'll do the next one. So I'll go ahead and get these blanched, peeled, and chopped, and we'll come back when we start to make our filling. We've finished cutting up our peaches, and I'm just going to take you through the ingredients quickly. Sugar, lemon, zest and juice, some cornstarch, pinch of salt, and some flavoring, which is bourbon. So I'm just going to add a pinch of salt to the peaches now, and our sugar, and our cornstarch. I'm also going to zest in the peel of this lemon. Give it a good roll, break up those essential oils, and we'll just go ahead and grate that in. In our pan, I have some melted butter, and we're going to add this once we have all this combined. We'll add our bourbon at the end. And if you don't want to use bourbon, you don't have to. If you want to add a flavoring, you can use vanilla. If you want to add other spices, you can do that. Some people like cinnamon. But in this instance, I'm just looking for the full flavor of these beautiful ripe peaches. So there, I've gotten all of the zest of the can from our lemon, and now the juice. So I'll have that. And before juicing it, I'm just going to give this a good mix to make sure all of those ingredients are nicely distributed. And this also helps to get the natural juices running of the peaches themselves before adding it to the pan to cook. All right, so that looks pretty good. So there's quite a bit of liquid that's already come off of those. So we'll just now add the lemon. I'm just going to strain that through my hand. So just stirring that through. I'm going to raise the temp just a bit on our pan, and then we're going to add in our fruit. We want that to really just cook right down until it's a bit jammy. And once that's cooked, we're going to chill that as well before we fill our pies. So I'll just get that going. And while that's coming up to temperature, I'm going to clean up a little bit. Our peaches are just starting to thicken up, which is what we want. We want to get them down almost to like a jam. And we just want the fruit soft. So I'll cook this and see how thick it's becoming. It smells amazing. It smells absolutely delicious. Oh, I'll go ahead and finish cooking these peaches, and then I'll take them off to cool, and we'll start rolling our pastry, getting ready to fill and fry our pies. I think my cousin will be very proud. Well, now that I have all of this beautiful fruit softened and thickened, now's the time I'm going to just turn off the heat, and I'm going to add our bourbon. And I'll just cook that in. Oh, it smells great. Again, if you don't want to use alcohol, although probably vanilla extract has more alcohol per volume than this, actually it's a Tennessee whiskey. You can guess which one. So it's up to you. It really doesn't add much in terms of alcohol. All right, so now that's going to cool, and we will begin making our dough, rolling out our dough to fill our pies. And while our filling is cooling, it's now time to just roll out our pastry. Just a light dusting on the board, our rolling pin. We just want to turn that each time. Don't want to get too much flour on it. Doesn't have to be perfectly round because we will cut it. Just want to keep it moving. And I have a little bowl here to help me judge the size. That's good. So I'm just going to set that on our parchment line rack until we're ready for it. We're getting these fairly thin, but not too thin. So I will go ahead and finish rolling out the rest of these, and then we'll start to fill them. If you've made it this far, please drop a comment below. Let me know what you think so far. Also, if you're not a subscriber, please subscribe to the channel. It really helps us out. And also share this with your friends to help build the community. I appreciate it. Finished rolling out our pastry, and now I have our chilled filling, and I have a scoop, quarter of a cup, and I'm just going to put that filling in the center of our pastry. Have a little brush and just water, and I'm just going to brush around that to help seal the pie. Actually, I think I could get a little more filling in there. Good. And I just want you to see this. I'm just going to bring this over and close it. So I'm just pushing that down and then folding that around to seal it. And then we'll come back and we'll crimp it. By using our two fingers and one hand and the finger on the other hand, and just forming a V and pushing that into our fingers to seal that. Then we'll put them on our parchment. And we'll do one more. And then, if you don't want to use this method, you can always use a fork and do the old-fashioned method, or traditional method, which some people might prefer to seal the pie. Our pies have chilled. I brought them out of the oven. Got a wire rack with some paper towels on a tray, and our oil is at 375, 190 Celsius. So let's fry some pies. Whoa! I don't want to splash myself. I'm only going to do 2 at a time because the temperature will lower. As those go in, and it's only going to take about 3 to 4 minutes, 1.5 minutes, 2 minutes per side. So I just want to make sure those are not sticking to the bottom. They're moving freely. Check our temperature. A little hot. That's perfect, actually. When those are browned on one side, we're just going to roll them over. So just remove the first two to our wire rack. I'll bring that closer. Okay, I've finished frying all of our pies, and I think they look good. A couple of them are a little bit wonky, but oh, they'll taste good. Don't think it matters, but I'm going to pick this one, and I think it's cool enough for me to have a taste. And because it's a hand pie, I don't need anything other than these. Okay, here goes. I want you to see the filling. It's beautiful. It's hot. Pastry is flaky, tender, delicious. Absolutely, it's absolutely delicious. I hope you do try this. Make your own version of a fried pie. It certainly brings back memories to me of my dear cousin. Well, thank you for joining me today at Gary's Urban Larder. If you enjoyed today's recipe, please give us a thumbs up. Remember to subscribe to the channel and ring that notification bell so you don't miss a single delicious recipe. And finally, please share this video with your friends. It helps to build the community. I do appreciate it. Thank you. Until next time. Bye-bye. I'm finishing my pie.